Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name's Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, your health strategist, and I'm an internationally published author helping take you from where you are right now with your mindset, your life, your business, your health, fitness, where you are from now to where it is that you want to be. So today I'm building on the momentum of the last couple of days. We've been talking about creating a plan for yourself in terms of your health and fitness. Now, if you listened to yesterday, you'll hear me talk about how I believe that your health and fitness provides such an amazing platform to springboard anything in your life. Like if you get your health and fitness right, you can do anything. You've got more energy, you become more focused, and you really nail this. And you find that it creates this momentum for your mindset to do everything just better. Why? Because you've got more energy. If you're abundant with health and strength and vitality, then you do become literally unstoppable. It's an amazing, amazing gift that you give to yourself. Now, I don't want to hear that I don't have time, I don't have the resources and all that kind of stuff. You get resourceful enough to make the time that you need, because this, I tell you, needs to be your number one priority in your life. Putting your health, your wellness, your fitness as your number one priority in life. I don't care what anyone else says, that's where it needs to be. Because if you get this right, then life becomes better. Everything in your life becomes better. You screw it up, and guess what? You're dead. You don't live the life that you want to. I just met with somebody over the weekend who at some stage in his life, he's not particularly old, I think he's like 60 or something like that, but he had all this energy and strength, and he used to compete in bodybuilding, and he still helps bodybuilders, but because he hasn't looked after himself, he's got diabetes, he needs to use a walker all the time now. It's quite sad to see it. There's a chance he could lose his legs. I mean, it's really quite sad. So we've got to make sure that we look after it. Now, today, we're creating this mindset for change. Now, I'm using health and fitness because we are the Mental Toughness and Body Show, because I think it's that good platform and we want to get this right. And I think everybody listening to this can probably say, do you know what? Yeah, I could do with improving my health. I could do with having a little bit more focus. So when I'm talking about these concepts here, you can apply them to any area of your life. And I did talk about this yesterday. What we're doing is creating a thought process, a mindset for change. And that's what makes it exciting. I think health and fitness is something that everyone can relate to. Okay? So that's why I picked this as, if you like, a vehicle for change. Because you change this, you can change anything. It's so, so powerful. Now here's the thing. Everybody's where they are right now for all the decisions that they've made in their life. And that is, okay, yeah, you made that decision to put the donut in your mouth, or the chocolate, or the alcohol, or the decision not to go and exercise when you know you should. I mean, we've heard JT talk about this many times. We all know what we need to do. We're smart people. Most people listening to this are business people, very successful, but not necessarily 100% as successful with their health. But we know what we should be doing. It's just that we choose not to. We choose to make different decisions. So I'm here to tell you, how can we get that right, that mindset right, so that you say, do you know what? Just as passionate as I am at making money or getting that next deal or whatever it is, I need to be exactly that same way, or if not more so passionate about my own personal health and fitness. Super, super important for you to do that. But what's important is to think, well, man, I've got so far to go. You might be looking at your body at the moment and you say, you get out of the shower in the morning. I've got some clients that when I'm coaching with them, I say, so what's the self-talk that you have to yourself? And this one lady, she said, oh, well, each time I get out of bed in the morning, I roll out towards my wardrobe. My wardrobe doors, if I can paint a picture for you, big sliding doors and their mirror, all the way from the floor to the roof. And she says, I roll out of bed, I look at myself and I say, you're just a fat, ugly bitch. I'm like, wow. Now you can take that a couple of ways. Now she has taken it for many years and beat herself up to say, this is why I am here and I'm never going to change. But then she made a decision to say, well, I'm going to start working with me. And to be honest, when I started working with her, I thought, I don't know that you're going to be successful. You just seem like, you're coming to one of our group classes just to socialise, and I'm not sure that you're going to get into it. But after her first session, she absolutely smashed it. She really blew me away, and she actually won our very first challenge. Our second 8-week challenge of the year. I thought, wow, she's just super, super impressed with me. Now I'm coaching her to help her achieve more. But I said to her, I want you to use those words and use it as energy to change. Don't use it to beat yourself up, but use it as painful to say, do you know what? I'm sick of that fat, ugly bitch. I'm going to change that. I'm never going to call myself that again because I'm going to change it. I'm not going to settle for having that image in my head again. I'm not going to let myself degrade myself, but use it as energy. And so she's on quite a big journey. Now, I said to her also to stop focusing on the end result. Like, don't focus on the big number. If you've got 40 kilos to lose, or 80 pounds if you're overseas, don't keep focusing on that. I realise it's more than that. It's closer to 90 pounds, but never mind. I said, let's focus on what you can do this week. Focus on what you can do today. So you reverse engineer it and say, well, for instance, the client, let's say she's got 40, we'll work on 40 kilos. And most of the females that I'm working with are losing somewhere between 500 grams to 1.25 kilos a week in fat. And I said to her, so let's look at it this way. It might take 80 weeks, so 40 kilos divided by half a kilo a week. Or I said it could take less than 40 weeks, so less than a year if you divide it by 1.25. But I said where you fall between those two ranges is going to depend on the decisions that you make, how well you stick to your meal plan, how often you're showing up to your training, how committed you are during the training, how committed you are to achieving that end result that you want to achieve. I said that will determine how long this is going to take for you. But let's focus on all the things that you can do each day. And let's not worry about moving you from, to that 40 kilos, but let's worry about moving you just that little bit further forward. Let's just move you a little bit. Let's focus on the little bits that you can be doing rather than thinking, man, this means I've got to change my whole life completely to be able to achieve this. Just focus on some little changes. Because my goal for all of you listening is to implement simple, sustainable changes that you can do forever and completely condition yourself so that they're embedded into your lifestyle. That's the key. It's got to be sustainable, it's got to be easy, and it's got to be workable for you. Now, what I'm talking about here is some generic stuff. Where it becomes really powerful is when I work one-on-one with people so that we can tailor things specifically to you. But let's keep moving forward. We're working on small steps, okay? And yesterday, we talked about defining your goal, defining what it is that you want for your health and fitness. Now, you can see that this can be applied for any area of your life. This same exercise that I'm doing with you right now, you can apply for any area of your life. We're just talking about health and fitness. You could say it's a relationship, it's a certain business, it's a certain dollar figure that you want to achieve for monthly, weekly, annually, whatever, by a certain time frame. You can apply the same principles. So we've defined what it is that you want for your goal. If you haven't, this next part won't make sense. So I would say stop here if you haven't actually defined what it is that you want for your health and fitness. If you haven't listened to that one yet, go back, listen to day one, because JT is talking to me about a plan, or in his case, not having a defined plan for his fitness at the moment. And in day two, I talk about what that means and how we can start to generate some momentum for ourselves. And so here is the next point. We've defined what it is that we want. This, to me, this next step is the fundamental single thing that is missing from most people, which is why 70% of our population is considered overweight or obese. And that is very, very clearly defining why you want the outcome that you want. And that might sound incredibly simplistic, but most people don't do it. They just say, I want to lose weight. I say, okay. And yesterday I gave some examples of, life examples that I've had from people before. I want to look good on the beach in Bali. I want to look good for the wedding. I'm trying to have kids. I'm, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. So tell me, why are those things really important to you? I just want to look good on the beach. Now, how long do you think that is going to drive someone forward after Bali? And I think it's pretty clear that not very far. It's not going to drive them very far at all. So we need to drive deep connecting emotive reasons as to why it is that you want what you want. So what I'm going to do is, you might have to stop, pause, write some of these things down. But I'm actually taking this out of my book. So Awaken the Sexy Within. If you want to get a copy of that, just go to awakenthesexywithin.com. You can get it there. And this is out of chapter 1. It's coming out of page 20, actually. But I'm going to tell you what I'm talking about in a second. But you can grab the whole book there. It's selling really well at the moment. So I talk about in this chapter being really carefully outlining why you want what you want. And here's some prompts for you. So ask yourself, what's it going to mean to you when you accomplish your goal? What's it going to mean? I want you to also think about what stopped you in the past. Now, as I'm going through these questions, you might be listening to this as you're driving or just sitting there or whatever. The idea with all of these podcasts is to think, okay, how can I use this to grow my mindset, move my life forward, make better decisions, strengthen my mental toughness to make myself even tougher? I mean, we've been hit in the face with it's like a massive snowball, which is COVID-19. And I look at what I've accomplished over the last 90 days because I said, you know what, this is something that is kind of like a world war without the mass, weaponry and mass deaths like that. But this is such a pandemic that I want to be able to look back at myself and say, do you know what, when the chips were down and things were so hard, I had a couple of options. I could do nothing and just expect somebody to come along and help pick me up. Or I said, you know what, I've got to make my own destiny. And here's an opportunity for me to it was 90 days effectively from the time that I was closed to being able to reopen my studio again. I've got 90 days where I can completely change my life and my business by doing all these different things. And that's what I did. I set about creating new websites. I created I overhauled completely 2 of my main websites, created 2 more, created this radio show. I created an online program, and I did a couple of other things that are just slipping my mind at the moment. But all big things. The book launched, Awaken the Sexy Within, that launched. So I used the time effectively to say, if I'm having a discussion with my kids down the track, and I say, look, look at all these people around me that, like, even in my industry, that left the industry, that did nothing, that didn't bother to pivot and change their operating model and so forth, didn't communicate effectively with their clients, and have now, just waiting for government benefits to come by. I mean, you've got to make your own destiny. And I think this has made me stronger. And I'm preparing for another shutdown because I think we will have another shutdown. We've got 10 suburbs in my state that, 10 postcodes that were shut down yesterday. Effectively today, midnight last night, today. And we were most likely going to be one, but right now we've got 0 cases in our region, so we're okay. But it just spreads so quickly. So I think that we'll be shut down again because you'll have people in these postcodes that don't do the right thing, and the Premier of our state will come out and say, we're shutting the whole state down. So it's like a mayor in the US, I guess. There are constantly things that test us. And if you think you've had a hard year up to now, well, trust me, I think it's going to get worse. So we've got to keep on conditioning ourselves for these things. So don't just sit there passively and not do anything. You need to be writing your responses down. Don't just think about these, because this is where people get their health and fitness wrong. They just think about it. And I say, you've got to take some time out for this, maybe 20 minutes. Sit somewhere quietly by yourself. Think about the questions that I'm asking you. Write down the questions and maybe listen to this. Write down all the questions first, then say, okay, I'm now going to answer these questions on paper, because that will slow your thinking process down and you can get some real clarity, probably for the first time. Because whenever I start coaching people, no one has ever done this task. No one, ever. And guess what? That's why they're coming to see me, because they haven't been successful before. They've failed. So let's do this properly. So grab your piece of paper and start writing. Next question. So I said, what has stopped you in the past? That was the last one. Why will you make this time different? What are you going to do differently this time? What will your body transformation mean to your relationship if you achieve this change, or when you achieve this change? What's it going to mean for your self-confidence and your self-image when you achieve the change? What's it going to mean for your career? I have a number of clients, and there's one in particular that I'm thinking of. She works as a lawyer, and one of the issues that she has is she probably needs to lose 80 kilos. And she's been knocked back for promotions in the past because of what she looks like. And I know that sounds horrible, but unfortunately, that's her reality. Now, that stops her from applying for certain jobs because she believes that there's a ceiling on the type of job or position that she can achieve because of how she's been treated in the past. So imagine what it means for her career, her self-confidence. What's it going to mean for your family? What's it going to mean for your children? What's it going to mean for your extended family? What's it going to do? What's it going to mean for your energy level? And what will you do with that level of energy? All really powerful questions. And here's my advice to you. Answer every single one. And in doing that, make sure that you use really, really emotive language. Because the reason that I am where I am with my health and fitness, it's all come from one thing. And what do you think that is? It comes from pain. It comes from things that have happened in my life where I said, I'm never going to be like that again. What has driven me to speak to you right now was ultimately somebody forcing me up against a wall when I was 20 years old, in a room, in a classroom, crowded with people, including my friends, including the teacher that watched it all. He threatened to kill me. I felt immobilized because I was a little guy. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. The teacher didn't say anything. My friends didn't say anything. No one else said anything. And I left that room feeling completely humiliated. And within the next probably 24 hours, I said, I'm never, ever going to feel like that again, because I had no self-confidence. So within hours of that, I just happened to be reading a newspaper I saw an article about a local gym where they'd done a very clever editorial, and it talked about this guy that put on 10 kilos in 10 weeks of muscle. And I'm like, that's going to be me. I went and joined the gym and I achieved that goal. I was so focused on it. And from that moment, my life has always been working out every week and focused on health and fitness. So my goals have changed over time, but it came from that moment because I was in so much pain and I said, I'm never going to do that again. And why did that particular moment? Because as a primary school kid, I was bullied. I was picked on, I was pushed over, I was dragged down corridors, I was thrown into walls, I was treated really badly. So I had a horrible, horrible self-confidence. I didn't think I was good at anything. I didn't think people liked me. And I didn't like myself. I didn't like the way that I looked. I didn't like my body shape because I was physically small, as in height, but I was also a tiny kid. And I was a tiny adult. So I wanted to change all that. So that's why I do what I do now. And I love working with kids as well, because kids that need to build their self-confidence and get them to focus on their health and what's important to them. And it's a really, really exciting journey. And when I do it for adults and you can see this transformation within them, it's so, so exciting. But it all comes from that sustainable success, comes from why do you want to achieve it? So one of my big anchors is, because of the way that I treated, I said, I'm never going to feel like that about myself ever again. So I will always do this. I will always train. I'll do strength training. I'll do cardio training. I'll make sure that I eat properly so that my body always feels good, looks good. I know I'm doing the work. That's a really big one. Another one I spoke about yesterday, which is my poor family tree of health. That drives me to say, do you know what? I want to be around for my kids and my kids' kids. And even though whatever genetics fall my way, I'm going to put myself in the best possible position so that I can live as a long, strong, healthy life. So that means that I need to keep working on myself and my mindset every single day so that I can achieve the things that I want to achieve for my health and fitness and everything else in my life. But everything comes back to, how's my health and fitness? Because if I'm crappy with my health and fitness, I know my relationships, all relationships, are going to be poor. My ability to be a great dad is going to be poor. My ability to drive my business and help more people is going to be poor. So I don't want to be like that. So this is a really, really powerful exercise. Make sure you do it, write it down, reflect on it, and make sure you use really strong language. You can hear from the way that I'm describing it that I'm so passionate about what I do, because I know what it's done for my life. I know what it does for my mindset. So, you want to find out how you can work with us in more close detail, work one-on-one, go to the mentaltoughnessandbodyshow.com. You can see all the details there, and you can find some links as to how you can work with us one-on-one. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, keep washing the hands. See you soon.